results first. Did you get an increase from the VA to this new role?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
So I got just under a $20,000 increase, and then also a bunch of stock options that went along with that for the comp package.
VA don't give stock options, huh?
No, they do not. They sure don't. When I did my first intro call, I was like, man, something that really is important to me is I want to be able to work from home. Everyone's trying to work from home and I'm going to take a pay cut. And Derek was like, listen, there's no reason you can't get the best of both worlds, work from home and not take a pay cut. And I was 100% sure that he was wrong. I was so mentally prepared that if I was going to get to work from home, I was going to have to take a $20,000 to $30,000 pay cut. I literally had told myself that I would be okay with that. So then when it came back around and then I had this opportunity and they're like, you're fully remote, all the flexibility in the world, and they offered me more money, I was like, I'm sorry, what? Excuse me?
You stay at a company for a couple of years, that could be significant depending on how the company does too as well. And that's what we were just talking about, was the questions we ask individuals is, where were you before working together? But we kind of said like military, just like me, woohoo. You were at VA, what was it? Off the top of my head, well, it wasn't like, how long did you work there?
So I was only at the VA for 3 years, but I was DOD before that. I built a career within the government. I peppered some civilian organizations, but I really, I was active duty Army. I kind of transitioned to DOD and sort of transitioned into VA. So I had set myself up for this government world and this government career. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're leaving. I can't believe the benefits. You can't walk away from the benefits. And I'm like, that there's really good benefits out there. I have better benefits than I had there. And that's kind of wild to me.
Remind me, I don't know if it was just because you said you worked there a couple of years. Was it just you hit the top or you were over it? Because it seems like you liked your boss and you liked the team.
I had an amazing team. I loved my team. I loved my boss and I really loved my peers. But I got to a point where in the VA, it's tricky. And this is most like government organizations is there's bottom rung, there's lots of opportunity and positions to move around and find different things. As you move up, there are less and less opportunities. As you become more, specialized, there's really nowhere to go. So you're either going to accept that you're going to stay here for the long haul and then try to wait somebody out, or you're saying that you're going to move. And I didn't want to move. I wanted to be able to be home more, but I also wanted some kind of career progression. And I wasn't going to be able to get that. I was going to do great things in my department, but I have peers who have been managing their units for 10 years.
When you take a look at probably the difference between government and private sector, lots of people are going to work for the states for 30 years, 40 years and stuff. And when you get to corporate America, that's not really the case. Primarily probably because the different pensions, etc. So did you try your search on your own for a while, or were you just like, I don't even know where to start?
So I did. It's interesting because nursing has taken such a crazy turn over the last 2 years, and you have nurses trying to leave the bedside, go virtual, go remote, go hybrid. And so I was like, okay, well, look, let me see what's out there. I have this kind of mixed bag career. I have a lot of experience. Not only was I not getting any bites, I was getting a lot of hey, thank you for your interest. What I came to realize, because I'm on all these nursing job forums, what I came to realize is that these posts, these jobs that'll come up, you're talking about thousands upon thousands of applicants. This is not, gone are the days of at the VA, when we would hire, we'd have 25 applicants. And so, for me, one of the things, my resume was really focused towards government. It didn't highlight anything that I had been doing or how to translate that into corporate America. I know how to get a government job, really, really well. But it's like a foreign language, trying to translate that into something that is usable in the external world, in corporate America. So I had been kind of working on it and just sort of seeing something will bite. Let me just it was real haphazard, kind of hit or miss. There was no real movement. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to have to really dig my heels in and start putting in some effort. That was kind of when I ended up finding you guys.
What's really crazy too, before we were talking about kind of just being open-minded, because I asked you, hey, how does your team and your boss feel that you were leaving? And you were kind of what they didn't understand was the possibility out there. And that's what I was talking about today with the group is the world is big, man. There is opportunities out there that pay you more, where you could be happier. There's better people and there's more, there just is. But the problem is when you're in it, you're what am I doing wrong? You don't even think it's possible.
I can see it now because I see all of my friends who are like, oh my gosh, it's not possible. It's not possible. Even though I was like, yeah, it's possible, there was still so much of me that really didn't believe it was possible. Nobody's going to recognize the skill set that I have.
They think like every worst possible way. Oh my God, this isn't going to work. I'm going to have to do this. Like, how can you even get excited to push forward to do it? Like, it's just interesting, when you're in it, how like sometimes defeating it can feel. So what do you find most valuable about working together?
The knowledge that you guys brought, that there's all this opportunity out there, but you're not entitled to the opportunity unless you're willing to put the work in to go out and seek out those opportunities. Because I'm that way now too. And I'm like, what are you doing to get yourself there? That piece of knowledge, kind of the knowledge of you're going to get out of this what you put into it. And I think that was so incredibly powerful to know, like, you own this job search. And I think people come into it and they're like waiting for someone to do it for them. Nothing else in life works that way. And yet we all kind of get to this point in our career where we're just waiting for someone else to hand it to us.
It's kind of like fitness, right? Like, it's a good analogy all the time. It's like, hey, you can have the best program, you can have the best coach, but no one can work out for us. Period. You're right too. A lot of people come to us for the job search and they're like, I want everything done for me. But really at the end of the day, you have to say, Lisa has to go on the interview. There's only so much anybody can help you or prep you.
Absolutely.
A lot of it is you have to be directly involved. And here's another thing. If we weren't involved, and someone could do it for you, how would they even know what you want?
And then, the other cool thing is that so I think early on, it's when you start like the kind of like, network building piece, it's like a little bit like, like it's a little nerve wracking because you realize there's tons of people out there just kind of like, LinkedIn cold calling, as is what I call it. Like people are kind of sending these messages, but every time like I would send a message out to somebody or try to connect with someone or like reach out to them about a position, even if it didn't end up working out and like they got added to my network, I'm starting to see these similar people repeat. And I'm like, wait a minute, that, I remember seeing that guy. Well, he is actually attending a conference. Like he just shared a conference that my new company is putting on. And I'm like, and while he didn't have a position for me now, and I love where I'm at now, somewhere down the line, he's going to know that I'm associated with this. So it's just really kind of cool to sort of like be past that point and be able to kind of see how it continues to help you grow. This isn't like a, hey, here's your job and then you're done. Like just watching all of those pieces of the networking kind of come together, it's pretty cool.
Let's say we try to get a hold of someone on LinkedIn and we do kind of maybe cold call or send a connect and say like, hey, I noticed you had this position. And you do a cold approach, right? And some people are standoffish. Say me and you are at a business networking, just little bar thing, how they hold those little networking meetings. How is that any different from me walking up to you and saying, I don't know you, you don't know me, my name's Tim, do you want to shake hands? How is it different? It's not. People are so scared to talk to strangers, And I'm like, hey, if you go to a new company, a stranger's going to be the HR rep. A stranger's going to be your boss. You have to meet people to grow. So last question for you. Say we have someone right next to me right now who maybe talked to somebody or they're considering working together. What advice would you have for them if they were considering working with us?
Success never happens in a silo. Just in everything we do professionally, we are stronger by the team that we are working with. Like all of my successes have come as, a collective effort of a team. And this is no different. Having a team to back you up is going to take you so much further, just you, because you know what you know. I knew exactly how to write a resume, but I didn't know that I needed a team of people to help me write it for where I was trying to go and to highlight what I'm doing. I knew how to make a LinkedIn profile, but I didn't have a team of people showing me where kind of I could make it better. A team is going to make you stronger in every sense of the word. It's always going to improve what you're doing. So even if you think you know what you're doing, it's never going to be as good as what it would be when you have the support of all of these people behind you.